Hey, guess what, baby? I'm talking about you today. You walked in at the perfect time. I'm talking on Shanda On Demand. Hello, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm talking about how I found my husband in 90 days. And I get asked this all the time. So I thought, you know what? I'm actually going to, instead of doing a reel, instead of doing a video that nobody can ask me questions, I thought I would just take a moment this morning and I would talk on Shanda On Demand. And I promise you guys who have already found the love of your life that I'll translate this into business as well, or into life success as well. So here's the thing. I wasted, I remember, I don't know, you guys, if you're in a relationship or you could remember back to when you really wanted to find that person, right? When you really wanted to find that person in your life. How old were you? How old were you when you wanted to find that person in your life? Just go in the comment section and let me know. How old were you when you wanted to find that person? Like, I remember in my 20s, probably in my teens, but really in my 20s, in my mid 20s, I remember thinking to myself, gosh, I really want to meet my husband. Like, I remember thinking that. I remember thinking that my life was incomplete. I don't need any personal development here, but I remember when I used to think my life was incomplete when I didn't have my husband. Anybody else feel like that? Yes or no? Oh, that's so funny. 17. Wow, lots of you guys are looking for your spouses at 17. Married at 26, renewed our vows. Wow, Heidi, that's amazing. Like 5. Somebody said 5. Oh my gosh, you were born to be in relationships, weren't you? 23 here on Facebook, teens, 20s, 30, 34. Wow, you are independent. 19, 18. Okay, so you guys can all see, like it's been a while, right? And so no different than trying to grow a business. I remember getting into triathlons because I couldn't make any money. And I thought, talk about a controller here. I thought, if I can't make any money, I'm going to control my body and live in the best body possible. That was literally how simple my thinking was, which was a big aha for me around laws of attraction or biblical principles. I started to think, gosh, it's really so much easier to hit our goals. We're just not decisive enough. It was a big aha. We're just not decisive enough, because I went and did triathlons. I got in the best shape of my life. And then when I finally got serious and I stopped deferring my power over here about there's no good men, or I have a girlfriend, no kidding, that moved from Las Vegas to California because she said there was more men in California. And she's had a lot of challenges with men in California too, right? And so I want to share this with you because I have another girlfriend who did the same thing. And I believe that finding the love of your life is the same as building a business, as the same as building a family. I believe that when you're successful at one area of your life, you can be successful at all of them. Now, there's obviously the other side. There's, if I haven't been successful at making money, if I haven't been successful at parenting, if I haven't been successful at relationships, you have to look in the mirror. The only way you get your power back is to look in the mirror, because here's what I will tell you. I didn't look in the mirror for far too long. And what it did was my life kept going. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, my life kept going, and I didn't have my amazing Ash in my life, who, by the way, I broke up with 17 times in one day. So I wasn't exactly the best relationship person, but I stuck in there till I was successful. Now, I get asked this all the time. So I found my husband in 90 days. I have another girlfriend who did the same system. She found her husband in 90 days. We were both pregnant. We did it backwards, but we were both pregnant within 90 days after that. And we both have 7-year-old boys from that moment in time in our life. Now, I spent at least 20 plus years of my life looking for my husband. I definitely spent, I don't know how many years of my life less trying to make money in a business, trying to be successful. The difference is that with the business, I was super, super clear that I knew what success looked like. In relationships, I wasn't. So here's how I did it. For all you, I know some of you guys are already in relationships, but you might want to share this with one of your single friends right now, okay? And because I think this is really important. I think the mindset behind it will enhance any area of your life. So identify the problem. And I don't mean identify the problem outside of you. I mean, identify just the general problem. I had a general problem of I'm shy. I mean, I know some of you guys know me really well, and you're like, you're shy? I am so shy. Like, it is so hard for me to walk into big events and connect with people and put myself out there. It really is tough for me. And so I never wanted to be a speaker. I never wanted to do Facebook Lives, TikTok Lives, YouTube. I never wanted to speak on a stage. The fact is, the reason why my company is called Hardcore Business is because I didn't want to be front and center. So it wasn't even about the smartest move. It was, I was doing everything I can to avoid rejection, avoid the limelight, avoid being in the front platform, which is really funny for a lot of my friends to hear. We were talking about this the other night, and they're like, I can't believe that you weren't born like on the stage. I'm like, no, I was afraid. So now flip that into relationships. In relationships, I never used to, I'd put my head down. If I saw a good looking guy, I'd put my head down or I'd focus on my girlfriends, and I wouldn't be there available to be able to meet the person. So what did I do? I had a lead gen problem. Told you I'm going to make this about business and relationships, but literally this is how I thought, because I was so obsessed with business that I almost forgot to fall in love. I almost forgot to have a family. And so I literally realized, Shanda, you have a lead gen problem. You don't even know how to meet guys. By the way, when I started my business, I had the same problem. I didn't know how to meet clients. I didn't know how to find clients. Anybody else in that situation right now? Put a me in the comment section. If you're sitting there either in a relationship trying to date or in business and you can't seem to find more customers, you can't seem to find more people to date, put me in the comment section, because this is a big deal. Because when you get good at one thing, when you get good at it in relationships, you get good at it in business as well, because it's the same thing. It's connection. It's connection. See, my friends, the reason why it's really easy for me to sell is because I connect all the time online. I send emails anywhere between 1 to 3 to 4 a day. And when I got into trying to find my husband, I didn't do anything like that. I stayed in my house. And the only time I went out was to be with my girlfriends. And when I was with my girlfriends, I was sharing a bottle of wine with them. And I was in deep conversation with them about their life and my life. And there was no room for a relationship, because I didn't ever set a lead generation intention in my day. So here's what I did in my relationships. I hired a coach. So goes back to the conversation. I don't think you should build businesses, or if you're having a challenge in your weight loss, or you're having a challenge. I just hired a coach to work me out. I don't know why somebody keeps calling. Sorry about that, Instagram. Somebody keeps calling. If you're having a problem anywhere in your life, if you keep struggling through it, it's your own darn fault that you're not succeeding, because you've got to be willing to invest time and money, period. So I invested money and time in hiring a coach, and I hired a relationship coach. Her name is Cherry Norris, right? People always ask me, what's her name? Her name is Cherry Norris, okay? So I don't know why this is doing this. Hold on. Sorry, Instagram, if you guys can't hear me. For some reason, the system's going a little crazy over there. I know, I don't know why. Here, let me pop off. Hold on, you guys on Facebook. For some reason on Instagram, these poor people are yelling at me. I can't hear you. Okay, so let me try this again for them. Okay, so what I did was I knew I had a lead generation problem in finding relationships, and so instead of sitting there spending another 2 years of my life, or 3 or 4 or 5 or however long it was going to take me to succeed in finding love, I needed to figure out. I don't know why you guys on Instagram, it won't work. Somebody keeps calling, and so it won't work. So I'm just going to disconnect them. Poor guys. I'm like, sorry guys. Hi. I'm going to disconnect my Instagram. So I'm not distracted. So where was I? Okay. So I sucked at lead gen. I sucked at it in business. So I had to handle it in business, but I was honest about the problem. In relationships, I wasn't honest about the problem. You know what I thought the problem was? That guys liked my independence and my drive, but when they got close to me, they didn't like that. And there were men that said that. Every guy that I dated almost wanted me to quit being a career woman or a businesswoman and wanted me to just focus on becoming a wife. And that was never in my cards. And so I made up the story that like men just were intimidated by women, which Where does that have me? It has me as a victim. Okay, it has me like I can't do anything about that. So I had to identify another problem before that problem. And what I did was I did a telesummit or a video summit where I interviewed a series of experts around the conversation of, I let them basically rip into me. I called a research project and I did a video on an opt-in page where people gave me their name and phone number to watch these interviews. And I sounded something like this. Hi, my name is Shanda. I am a female entrepreneur. I'm looking for Mr. Right. I'm looking for my husband and I can't seem to find him. And so what I've done is and I literally did a video like this. And I shared with them that I got a bunch of experts in the relationship field and I interviewed them. And I literally allowed them to be my counselor or my psychologist or my coach in front of thousands of people watching. And I positioned it like that. I said, if you're having a problem finding love, watch this interview series because I'm going to have therapy sessions. I'm going to have 21 different therapy sessions and I'm intending to break through. I hope you do too. And so this goes back to what I talked about last week where I said, if you want to make a lot of money, you've got to clean your heart. Because having engagement online, having a great message, having a great reason for people to tap in has so much to do with like, where's the fire in you right now? And you're responsible for generating that fire. So I did this interview series and here's what I heard over and over and over again. Shanda, you're dating weak men. Some of you guys might be offended by me saying that, but I dated men. There's something in the Bible called evenly yoked, right? It's where like, if you've got one person driven, one person's not driven, you might not be evenly yoked. Or, because it looked like that in my marriage for some time, because what I did was I took over the power of my own marriage at one point where I controlled everything. And then I complained about that. And so it's been a self-fulfilling prophecy. I hope I'm making a difference here by opening up all my vulnerability and mistakes and wrongdoings, really. I was trying to get my worth by being successful. And I also tried to get my worth by making a lot of money. And in some aspects that worked really well. And I don't regret that at all. In other aspects, it had me wait entirely too long to get married, to have children. And that's led to a series of miscarriages, having children older. Yes, we do have our son, but it's led to like 5 rounds of IVF, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars, lots of disappointment. Like but I'm relentless. And I'm relentless in business. I'm relentless in my fitness. I'm relentless in my health and nutrition. I'm relentless in building a marriage. I'm relentless. And I wasn't relentless at the beginning because remember, I was shy. And so I want you to know whatever walk you're walking right now, I think you're on the right path. And my purpose of this live today wasn't to make anybody feel good or bad. It was actually to just acknowledge yourself and say, listen, what's the missing gap? If you've got an area of your life that's not working, go in the chat right now and tell us what area is that, right? What area of your life is not working? Is it your finances? Like, is it your money? Is it your business growth? Is it your lead generation? The more specific you can get, the better. Remember, my original assessment of why I wasn't married was because all these men liked powerful women, but then they didn't really like powerful women when they got close to them, but it wasn't true. I dated men, even though they were high-powered men, they were weak. They were weak. And it wasn't just me who said that. I didn't assess that. I got into proximity with experts who coached me. And I did it in the form of a telesummit, actually a video summit. I did a video interview with all these people and I released it to the public. I still have it if you want it. Let me know that you want it if you have a desire for relationships. I should actually launch that as a Black Friday special because it got me married, it got my girlfriend married, it got a lot of other people married. Because there was a lot of aha moments on really what the problem was, which was us, our picker. Our picker wasn't good, right? And our picker was connected to not that the men had the problem, it was that I was not picking men that were evenly yoked with me. Okay, and then when I did pick a man that was evenly yoked, I needed to get more coaching again because I took all his power away by paying for everything. Okay, I took a high-powered man and I just took care of him at a level that was so unserving. And then I found myself in the same position, but now married. right? So I share this all with you because I promise you you're more powerful than you think. Unless it's abuse, physical abuse, I just don't think there's many things you can't turn around. I really don't. Physical abuse, I wouldn't stay in it at all. I wouldn't even try. I'd be out, right? But everything else, even some bad words, I would do the work, especially if I had a child, especially if I was married. I would do the work, right? I would even do the work in infidelity, believe it or not. I have a friend of mine that their marriage got really, really good after infidelity. So I'm not saying I wish that upon myself or you or anybody else. I'm just telling you my walk and what I'm committed to. And I'm committed to a really thriving business. I'm committed to selling a business, not hardcore, but selling a different business. I'm committed to being in the best shape of my life. I'm committed to having another baby. I'm committed to having a rock solid marriage. Just this year, did my marriage flip over to best friend status. And it was like a holy cow. And it was through working through all the stuff, his stuff and my stuff, that turned it here. So how did I find him? So lead gen for men. One of the things that the relationship experts taught me was how to get eye contact and to not break it. So imagine this. I'm walking to the juice store. I look over, you're a guy. And it doesn't matter if you were 7, 12, 18, 80, or my age, cute, not cute, fat, skinny, in shape, you're attractive, not attractive. And whenever I got eye contact with a man, I just stopped and I smiled. And I didn't break the smile until they did. And what that led to is an overabundance. Some of you guys need that dating tip right there. It was an overabundance of men that were walking up to me. And I'll never forget this one. And this is where my whole idea of men changed. I had a man walk up to me at a juice bar in San Diego called Be Beaming. And he chased me out the door. And I promise you he was not hitting on me. He said, I'm not hitting on you. I'm very happily married. He said, but I just want to tell you that you are such a beautiful woman. Now, that wasn't what I was wearing. I was in sweats. It was the smile on my face. Ladies, there's nothing more attractive than happiness. And that's generated from the inside out. But connection is currency. If I don't connect on my email, my text message, my social media platforms, if I don't find a way to connect, then I don't make money. Because it's entirely too hard for people to make a decision if they're going to part with their income and trust me to help them build a business or get fit or whatever it is my product was. If I wanted to find love, it's a numbers game. I hate to say it like that, but you've got to get used to lead genning choices in life. See, the reason why you want to live in a certain neighborhood is the market's dropping all over the place. Just announcements have just come out that they believe that we might drop into a 2008, 2009 economy. 2 months ago, they said that was impossible, right? I'm telling you, my instincts have always been really good, and I bet yours has too. And that is, I knew we were going into a crazy market, which is why I keep telling you on Shanda On Demand, our Mentor Me Live clients, if you're not in Mentor Me Live and you want to be coached by us, you better let us know soon because you're running out of time. The market is turning and it's turning fast, and you can create cash very quickly. That is not an income claim, but I'm saying that you can put yourself in a position where you know how to lead gen really, really well, customers and clients. So I had to learn how to do that with men. And I'm telling you, then my next stage was I needed to learn how to become intimate with them because I 86'd them all. Now, I know you guys do this in your messaging. You do this in the products that you go to offer. You second guess it, or you make your mission or your purpose or your ideas wrong. See, I made men wrong. See how like this leadership goes across all platforms? So I made men wrong. I'd look at a man and I would say, oh, he's not my husband, before I ever talked to him. He wasn't my husband. By the way, I did that to my husband. I said, he's too short, he's too skinny. He was doing like 6-hour bike rides multiple times a week. He was so skinny that I was like, this guy, he's going to break if he picks me up. And so I was like, yeah, no, but I made a commitment to my coach. And this is why coaches are so important and being coachable. My coach said I had to keep in the endurance game. I had to stay dating the men if they asked me out until I couldn't stand the way they chewed. right? Until I couldn't stand the way they chewed. Even if I knew they weren't my husband, see, you guys are giving up on businesses, you're giving up on books that you're supposed to write, you're giving up on things because you've either made them wrong or you don't believe that if you put in any more time, who am I talking to right now? You don't believe if you put in any more time in this area that it's going to manifest to the miracle that you're looking for. It's not going to create money. It's not going to create success. It's not going to create freedom. And so you stop and you switch to another thing. See, you're in a pattern. You're in a pattern. In marketing, we call it pattern interrupt. You have to interrupt people's pattern so that they wake up. You have to interrupt your own pattern so you know how to interrupt other people's patterns, right? So often that takes a mastermind. It's unbelievable to me how many people in programs like Mentor Me Live that won't come to their mastermind in Tampa next month. It's like unbelievable. You got to get into the room. You got to be around people and let them see you can't be in isolation. So my coach, my dating coach is like, you have to catch eye contact, smile, and be in that awkward smile. It started to get normal because everything uncomfortable eventually becomes comfortable. Very quickly, because I was coachable, I did it. I started lead genning men. Then, of course, none of them were my husbands. But I had the next set in the formula, which I had to keep dating them until I couldn't stand the way they chewed, which then I had to create a survival mechanism, true story. And I would say, okay, I know this isn't my husband, but I'm going to enjoy the person that's sitting in front of me. Guess what happened? I started noticing all their attractive qualities. I started looking at men when they were chewing and thinking, oh, what beautiful lips, what beautiful jawline. Oh, I love their heart. You know why? Because I wasn't trying to size them up to get anything. I wasn't trying to protect myself from disappointment anymore. How many of you guys need to hear this right now? Put me. This is big. This is big. It was the same stuff that was stopping me on skyrocketing my business. I'd made some money, some good money. I was living on the ocean in a condo, but I wasn't making the money that I knew I was supposed to make because I was afraid. So I was afraid in love. I was afraid in business. I was afraid of rejection. And that kept me small for so long that it took entirely too much work ethic, which came with stress, overwhelm, frustration. Those are all signs of poor intensity, poorly placed intensity. You want intensity in the all in, I'm going for it, I'm excited, not the, oh my God, this isn't going to work. You know, that overwhelmed is misplaced intensity. So then I shifted and I dated these men and I started to like a lot of them, I can't even remember. There was only one Navy SEAL that I wouldn't date because I knew he had killed multiple people. And I was like, I'm a handful. True story. I literally said, I'm a handful and I'm afraid that if I date you, that it might be a bad ending for me. No kidding. I actually said that to him and he was like, no, please. Now here's the third thing. I told every man what I wanted. See, when I'm making offers online, when I'm, doing live events, virtual events, I tell people I have an offer, right? If you want to be wildly successful, you need to do my Mentor Me Live program. I need a couple years with you. I mean, I'm not a quick fix and neither is anybody out there. I need to help work through the formulas, just like dating is the same thing with business. As you pass a stage, a new stage opens. What a lot of people do is they stop at the stage they're at because they're like, I'm good, peace out, I'm good. That's a problem because you're not good. If you're not growing, you are completely staying in a comfort zone that will not serve you in the later years in life. You must keep evolving your wisdom. So I always say, like when I'm leading something, I'm like, my best programs, my highest success stories are Mentor Me Live, right? And so if you want Mentor Me Live, put MML in the chat. So you tell people what you're doing. See, this idea that you have to be so crafty or so good to find the love of your life or so hot or so good looking is such a lie. The thought that you have to be so good at marketing, so good at selling. No, you got to be honest. So in relationships, what I did was I started telling all the men I was dating, what are you looking for while you're dating? And they'd tell me. And then they would ask me, what are you looking for? And I say, I'm looking for my husband. And here's exactly what I said for everybody who needs to hear this right now. I said, I'm looking for a man that if he met the right woman, I'm not saying I'm her, but if he met the right woman, that he would be willing to have children and get married now. Like, I'm not on the 4-year plan. And I just was really honest with that. Do you know all but one man, and I was dating, by the way, 5 to 6 times a week. When I started the eye contact thing, boy, did it work. I was like, wow, all those years I made up stories that men didn't like ambitious women was all a lie. It was all a lie. When I told the men that what I was looking for, all but one said, it's such a relief to date a woman that doesn't play games. And guess what? They all took me a lot more seriously. They wanted to date me. They didn't want to have sex. They wanted to get to know me. I'm not kidding you. Like, it was an unbelievably new dating experience. In fact, my husband told me if I would have jumped into bed with him, that he would have classified me as every other woman, and we wouldn't be here today. So I share all of this with you. Of course, there's more to the story and how I've kept the marriage and how I've created this incredible best friendship with my husband. And it's incredible building businesses with him. It's incredible to not be afraid of him growing bigger than me. I'm sure it's incredible for him to not be afraid of me growing in my life, that we won't leave each other because one person's grown. It's incredibly freeing to build an atmosphere at home that has a foundation of growth, that you know you can go through anything together, but you also know that you work well together. So there's no disrespect. There's just so much vision and building. But this was a man that wouldn't even goal plan with me at the beginning. And I'll tell you, this weekend, we were goal planning with God like you wouldn't believe. So I encourage you to get that area of your life fixed and figured out if it's not in good shape, and realize that in business, it's the same way. You got to lead gen. You need to make honest offers. You need to follow through. You need to follow up, and you need to stay in it. You need to stay in connection, and things will come together. All right, you guys, I hope this was an interesting Shanda on Demand. I know it's a little different than what I normally talk about, but I get asked all the time about this topic and how it came together. And that's it. And a good man will always take you, ladies, off the market. You don't have to make up excuses for him for being late or unattentive or whatever. You just need to state what's important to you, and he either has the same value systems with you or not. All right, you guys? All right, so much love to you. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Bye.